What's the world? It's your boy Dez. Looking for my lighter. Get ready to get started here in a second. Got an episode tonight, current events episode. And I'm about to go ahead and go live on the Spotify. So again, if you're not subscribed, we are on Spotify. Podcast is on Spotify. We got Amazon, Audible, Google, YouTube. No, not on YouTube. But Google's getting ready to shut down theirs. iHeartRadio, and working on Apple. So there's a few ways to get the podcast. I'm going to go ahead and get started here live as well. What's up, world? It's your boy Dez. I want to welcome you to the Wannatalkaboutit Podcast. Tonight's going to be just me, unless we get some of the crew to pop in. I am live on Instagram as well right now. And tonight I'm going to bring some current events to you. Before that, I do want to drop the tags as usual. It's your boy Dez, no spaces, with the eyes. And you can catch that on my videos and content there on YouTube. Also, the Lawn Warrior on Facebook. I've got videos there, some more content there as well, some gardening tips. We also got the Karmicdez 85 on TikTok. Got some videos there. I think I have a skit or two on there as well. Some of my crafting there. Karmicdez 85 on Instagram as well. I don't have a lot of stuff coordinated with that profile as of yet, but I am working on it. And of course, they have the Want to Talk About It with your boy Dez and the crew Instagram page. So those are the places you can find me and get in contact with me, and just look at the content that's available. I want to shout out to the rest of the crew. We got Mike, D-Wayne, Kimberly, Hook, Ray, and Kay Jones. They've been the main contributors to the podcast, and I do appreciate it. And of course, all of our auxiliary guests as well. So again, tonight's episode's current events, and I wanted to start out with a current events episode because there's been a lot going on already, and we're just at the beginning of January 2024. And it is election year. With that being said, I do want to kind of I guess this happened 6 months ago, that President Joe Biden had requested that Texas remove the razor wire from the borders. The federal government the Biden administration didn't feel that Texas should have the ability to run its own border patrol or border security. And their reasoning behind that is because there is a bill that just passed that goes into effect in March. I believe it's the SR 20 or something like that. But the bill will allow Texas law enforcement to essentially judge who may or may not be legal and put them through the court proceedings to send them back or keep them here. Now, what the federal government is arguing is that the state should not have the ability to do that because it may lead to racial profiling. Now, I do live here in Texas, so I understand where that may come from with the racial profiling, but to me it feels like it's reaching because we do want to keep our borders safe. The phrase is, a country with no borders is no country at all, right? And as a whole for the country, unemployment is a big issue. And they're giving work visas to those who come in illegally until they can figure out, their status, whether they stay or not stay. So that does take away from the economy of the people who are already here in the country. So it's like if your home is struggling Do you let people in your home to help take care of them while your home is struggling? I wouldn't do it. Maybe I was when I was younger, yeah. But as an adult now, I understand you can't take care of yourself. Help other people unless you can help yourself. Then yeah, it doesn't really click to me. It doesn't make sense to me to do that. But they are wanting to remove the razor wire so that they can enforce the border laws the way they feel should be enforced federally. Now, they did sue Texas to get this done, and they won. And this is, again, like 6 months ago. So the move came down to, or the word came down to go ahead and remove the razor wire. Abbott declined and proceeded to suggest more, or I don't say prioritize more. Not even prioritize. He wanted to go ahead and he went ahead and put down more razor wire. Right? Seems like a real Texan thing to do. Now, understandable. Our Republican constituency here in Texas hasn't really been very fond of the Democratic Joe Biden administration. Some people may feel it would have been easier if Trump would have asked. But then again, I heard it stated that Trump was able to secure the borders better with the current laws, as opposed to having to create new laws and new standards and new policies. And I've seen videos of the border. It's crazy. People are literally running across the border. And for the Biden administration to request that efforts to trump that or stop that, to ease, stop the flow, prevent the flow, to remove that, to me, is crazy. So right now the move is on Biden. I'm guessing, from what I'm understanding, his next move would be to send the federal troops down here to the border to enforce the litigation against Texas. And I don't know how that would play out, if there would be an altercation on the border between civil, state and federal troops, or I don't know. But that is just what I heard. I initially heard that on Kwame Brown's podcast, Bus Life, and I had to look more into it to see if if he was providing the full story, as opposed, because he does clips, snippets of audio. So I wanted to make sure I had a full grasp of what was going on there before I provided it or brought it to y'all here on the pod. There is another litigation, state of Texas litigation going on right now. So while in my eyes Greg Abbott's looking good, for the time being anyway, Ken Paxton not so much. What I looked into, what I think it popped up in my timeline, or I Googled it. I was looking up bondsman the other day, and ran into an article that stated that Ken Paxton was suing the city of Killeen, Texas. Not just the city of Killeen, Texas. Suing also there was 4 other cities: Denton, Austin. I know Denton, Austin, and Killeen were the main 3. I can't remember the other 2. But they suing those cities because they had approved an ordinance that gave officers the right not to write you a ticket for possession. And as far as I understand the proposition here in Killeen, it is up to the officer whether to write you out a ticket or not. So Ken Paxton's argument is that federal or state law says that it's illegal. Therefore, the city should adhere to that. I understand that. I understand state law trumps the city law in that case. But I also understand that for the states that have legalized marijuana, Carolina, Arizona, Washington, those states have seen a revenue increase due to marijuana taxation. And they've also seen lower crime rates due to marijuana taxation or marijuana legalization, I should say. And with those two things right there, you figure that would be, those would be two shining things that the government would love to have on the books. Higher revenue from taxes and lower crime. Not in Ken Paxton's case, I guess. Considering that most, marijuana arrests are non-violent. So, but the way he'll spin it is that marijuana is a gateway to other things. And he wants to prevent the drugs from influencing the communities and bringing in that element. Seems very like a very antiquated argument at this point. Old argument. Again, especially since the evidence, there's so much evidence against his argument now. But whatever. So we have in Khalid been dealing with this issue since we approved it as the people. Now, to our knowledge, being a democratic republic, if we were to vote to approve a law, it should be put into effect. First, it was the county that went against this. Now it's the state that's going against the decision of the people who actually live in the city. So, that brings up a bigger question. What is our vote really? If we can vote for this and approve it, for some organization to come in and say, no, we don't like it, we're not going to honor you guys' vote. What does that mean for our democratic republic? I'm not saying democracy on purpose, because for those who know, America is not a democracy. We are a democratic republic. We vote for representatives to go and represent us in the presidential vote or on the Senate or in the House, things of that nature. So that makes it a democratic republic as opposed to a democracy, in which a democracy, every one of us would have a direct vote into who the president is. It would be more like the popular vote. But going back to the litigation, the suing of Killeen, Texas. Austin, keep it weird. Austin has Marley Fest, and as long as I've known about Marley Fest, you've always been able to partake in the park during Marley Fest. So for you to want to outlaw something that's been going on or sue for something that's, it's really all crazy to me. Let's see what else we got. It's rough being here in Texas. So sometimes the Republican influence is great. Sometimes it's not so great. I would say most of the time it's not. If you're, a person of African American descent, color, and whatnot. or even if you're not from here. Uh, it's really tough. Uh, what else we got? Black History Month. We made it to February. Yep. One of my guys had made a post that was very deep to me. As you know, Black History Month, whenever you're in school, there's kind of like there's the curriculum, the playbook, Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman. The same names over and over. But the name he threw out there was Mansa Musa. Right? So, for those who don't know, Mansa Musa was at one point the world's wealthiest man. And he was black. If we're talking about Jeff Bezos rich, we're talking about way more than Jeff Bezos rich. I mean, this guy, when they talk about gold toilets, gold floors, that type of rich. Mansa Musa, African king. That is part of our black history that we don't get to learn about in school. So his post also, pointed out the fact that there's only a specific time frame in which American education considers black history even teachable. That time period being from the Atlantic slave trade up into now. Moors built castles in Spain, the Spaniards, right? I had to look that information up to make sure I had that right. I had a discussion with one of the guys at work about who originated castles. Moors also domesticated horses. Yeah, they don't tell you that. Black people were the first. Let's say black people. People of color were the first to ride and domesticate horses. That movie Arabian Nights, Aladdin. People were riding horses in the desert. Well before cowboys and Indians. So, there's a lot of black history out there you can look into that's not black American history. And, now that hits right there, that may be the reason it's taught like that in school, because that designation didn't really come around until, after the Social Security Act? After Civil Rights? So... Well, on paper anyway. It wasn't a designation on paper, legally. What else we got going on? Carl Weathers passed. I saw that yesterday and was like, I was surprised. I know he's up there in age, but man, God, Carl Weathers? It got me to thinking. I was like, well, for y'all that don't know, Carl Weathers... he was in Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He played in, I believe, 4 Rocky movies with Sylvester Stallone. He was Adam Sandler's mentor in Happy Gilmore. Recently played in Mandalorian. So Carl Weathers has had, a long career in the entertainment industry, acting particularly, that I know of anyway. And he always had this presence. Apollo Creed, come on. What other boxer that you know about, I guess besides Money Mayweather or, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, those type guys that had that type of mystique. And he was, just a movie boxer. So that's crazy. His role in Predator, he wasn't Arnold but you knew he was a badass too. That's kind of how they presented it when they met up. It was locked arm, locked hands, and flex the muscles. Who can outpower who real quick? Neither one of us. We still got it. Yeah. How you been? Right. And then I got to think about Rocky. I was like, man, who's left from that movie? And I was like, or from that series. And I got to think about everybody still left. I was told that Paulie passed. I know Adrian passed, and Nick passed, and now we got Apollo who passed. So that's Rocky's whole crew really, which makes the movie even that more succinct now, because in the movies he's at a point where everybody he grew up around. Well, I don't say grew up around, but everybody his whole circle is gone, passed. And let's see here. We got the Super Bowl coming up here, and we're looking at a San Francisco, Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, to be quite honest with you. I don't think it's going to be very high-scoring. Patrick Mahomes just doesn't have the weapons that he used to be very high-scoring. And San Francisco can score high, but they're going to have a tough defense to have to play against. So I think it's going to balance itself out. I think we're in for a good game overall. And if Brock Purdy wins, what do we call him? What's his branding after that? Where does that take him? We'll have to see. These are all questions we'll have to find out after the game. I'm a Dallas fan, so I can't wait till next season. Hopefully I want to say hopefully, but yeah, hopefully we at least put on a good showing. I can't say Super Bowl, I know how hard that is, but if we get there, hell yeah. Hell fucking yeah. But I guess all I would really hope for is a great showing at this point. While I'm on this sports, I almost forgot about this news. I did see that LeBron James signed a deal with DraftKings. And, for y'all to listen to the podcast, I listen to Jason Whitlock a lot. One of the things he opened my eyes to was like, this is a first. We have a player who's currently, active in the league, in cahoots with a gambling organization. This would have never been heard of, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. And, he kind of alluded to that maybe LeBron would, parlay some information to win some bets over. I don't think it's that. I think it's more covert than that. Of course, with the deals coming through, the companies like DraftKings, who else is out there? I can't remember all the other names out there, but I know DraftKings is like not the biggest one. So with those companies out there making the moves that they have, making contracts with the leagues and entertainment broadcasting and distributors, that they're, he's willing to hedge his bets that they're going to be making a lot of money here in the future. And it's not a good, I can't say it's a bad decision. I definitely put money into DraftKings during the season because the stock typically goes up during the football season. I just don't know. I don't know. Like I said, it's a first. Also, with the gambling companies getting as big as they are, it begs the question, what kind of influence are they going to have on the game? So, Mike says it all the time. It's scripted. It's rigged. And I try to argue it, but moves like this makes it very hard to keep that argument up. So I guess that's really all I've got for y'all tonight. I want to thank y'all for joining on the live and on the pod. Again, it's the Want to Talk About It podcast with your boy Dez and the crew. You've just heard a current events episode. Everything, all of this you can look up on Google. The information is out there. Oh, also, before I go, I'm going to keep reminding you, April 3rd, if you're in the central Texas area or the lower southern eastern part of the United States, you will be in for a treat. April 3rd, we're looking at a total solar eclipse, so it's going to be dark for a good amount of time during the middle of the day. It's going to be like nighttime. The sun's going to go away. Hotels in Killeen, from what I hear, are already booked up. So you may have to look for spots in the surrounding area if you're coming from outside the area. Other than that, again, thank you for joining. Be safe. Dominate your day. Go ahead and talk about it.